Okay. Welcome to episode 8 of Coach's Point of View. I'm your co-host, Shamari Reed, along with our gracious host, Tony Murphy. And today we have a real special
That's
guest.
the coach's point of view. That's 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 the coach's point of view.
I want to introduce this good brother by the name of Casey Melvin, better known as KC, a longtime community leader, entrepreneur, and advocate of Paterson, New Jersey. He's the founder of Simply the Best Barbershop, which he ran for over 25 years, using it as a hub for mentorship and community connection. KC currently serves as the field operations director for the Patterson Hill Collective, leading violence prevention and youth mentorship efforts. He's also the president of Patterson Public Schools Parent Leadership Alliance. Driving a force behind multiple community initiatives and organizations, KC is now a certified candidate for the Patterson City Council at Large, continuing his mission to create real change in the city. Welcome today's guest, KC.
Appreciate y'all guys. Appreciate you, man, for having me through.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking time out today. I know you have a very busy schedule. I know you're accomplishing a lot, so I thank you for taking time to come sit down with us.
Yes, sir.
And everybody in our audience. I appreciate you very much.
Appreciate you guys for having me, man. And you did your research. I see you got a pretty good
Absolutely.
bio of me.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate that. Okay.
Absolutely. So, cuz if you don't mind, I'll start. I kind of just want to know, like, your start. Can you give us a little background growing up in Patterson, your experiences?
Okay.
Start from there.
Okay. So, born and raised in the city of Patterson all my life. Went to Patterson Public School, the East Side elementary schools. I lived throughout pretty much every ward in the city of Patterson, from the first ward all the way to the sixth ward. So I'm kind of familiar, with the geography of the city. The north side of Patterson, the fifth ward, Summer Street was where I was born. Migrated to the north side, North Fourth, Bridge Street, Barnett Place, and then moved up to Alexander Hamilton Development, known as the Projects or the Pound. A lot of young folk know it now as that. And then from there, left the housing and became a homeowner. Had a few properties, and now I'm residing in the third ward in the city of Patterson. So, as I said, I'm educated in the city, did a little bit of college in my latter years, and got heavily involved in not only community, but government. But prior to my community involvement, I was an entrepreneur, I think from day one. My first business was fashion and design. I opened up a store, me and a partner, Brian Ville, we opened up a store in 1990,
What street?
Summer Street. Yeah, it was. Yeah, the business was called Creative Eye Fashion and Design, because back in the 80s, I used to do, like, a lot of people know me for artwork. I used to draw like cartoon characters and airbrush T-shirts and rhinestones and all that back in the 1980s. So me and Brother Ville put $500 together and invested in the store back in 1990. So I had that for about a year or two. But I also developed a skill of haircutting when I was in the housing development. I'm like 14, 15 playing with the clippers and turned that into a skill. So after my fashion and design business, it didn't last too long. I transitioned over to a barbershop, and I opened the barbershop in 1994. Actually, 1994 March. I opened it up. Prior to me working in the barbershop and cutting hair in the house and the projects, known for that too, cutting hair. I was the project barber, So, from there, got the barbershop and started off as cut creators. And then in 1999, we partnered and had Simply the Best. And I had that for 25 years.
So, cause people that do great things like that, they got a community business. A lot of times, you guys don't understand what the life is like for people attending the business, right? You have any Simply the Best moments?
Of course.
You can remember? Can you give me some, cuz?
I remember, so my first time just Simply the Best was always the popular barbershop when I was in Eastside High School at the time. That was like around 2000. I was actually going somewhere else, and a teammate of mine, I'm like, where you get your haircut at, right? Like, of course, growing up, I was just going to a guy that my father knew, and then now when you're in high school, you want to start doing your own kind of thing.
Right.
So now I had a teammate. I'm like, where you get your haircut at? He's like, Simply the Best. I'm like, all right, cool. So I ended up going in there one day. I think I was like sophomore year, maybe. It was like sophomore year. I went in there, and at first he was getting his haircut by Adrian, but then I'm like, Adrian, he got a lot of people all the time. Like, he had too many people, right? So I ended up going to Hanif. And Hanif was my barber from that time all the way, through college till the time he passed.
Right.
So that's who my barber was in there. And I just was saying, off camera, it's just a lot of good memories that I have, just from going to Simply the Best, because around that time, when you go out, you need to get a haircut before you go out, right? So it was just always, good energy. I knew so many people that went there. So yeah, it was super, super important, like, in the community. I don't even know if you guys knew that, but it was just always a good time being in the barbershop.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because now I was honestly a late. I found out very late about Simply the Best. So I always, as far as my personal experience, I always heard of the barbershop. I went to Mr. Cleave's.
Okay.
Up until I got paid about 17 years old, and so I was just loyal to Mr. Cleave's. But this particular day, this is how popular Simply the Best was. I was going to prom. So I'm like, no disrespect, Mr. Cleves, great barber, no disrespect, but Simply the Best was doing this new thing, new to me, and they were doing what we call blackouts. It may not, it was new to me. That was kind of like I was just starting to hear about it, right? So everybody coming in, they ways would be spinning extra dark. I'm like, man, I don't look like that at Mr. Clean. Like, no disrespect. So I went to Simply Best for the first time, and when I was going to Mr. Cleve's, it was mostly like a lot of older dudes. So now when I was going to Simply the Best, I felt like I got to kind of like fellowship with like my peers. I got to get some game for some older dudes, older than me, but younger dudes still, that was giving the game. Man, y'all had the jewelry, man. Y'all had it going on, right? They had the cars. And Hanif cut me, rest in peace to Hanif. Very, very good, solid dude. And I never had a haircut like that ever in my life. So I just wanted to tell that for y'all kids that unfortunately y'all didn't get that experience of the Simply the Best. Look it up.
And we appreciate y'all for coming through and showing love, because we're the hub. We're the hub for everything in regards to looking good, hanging out. We had the parking lot, so that parking lot was an extra accent where you can just pull up. Then our skill set, man, we not only limited ourselves for just learning the traditional, hands-on and going to school, we also traveled. We went to Atlanta, we went to New York City, all the hair shows, the trade shows. We was going to Newark, Philadelphia to learn different styles and techniques, and we brought it back to Patterson. In fact, we were one of the first barbershops to do the hair color. We called it triple black back then, but we learned it from Philly, and it was, plus we was like sports, hip hop, so we was on that vibe, and we tried to replicate that and bring that Hollywood type of, luxurious style to the hood, to the town. And I appreciate y'all for sharing that with us.
Yeah, I definitely did.
It was a great time for sure.
So KC, knowing you, I'm a little younger than you, so I kind of watched you from afar. I didn't have a chance to have like a personal relationship with you. So I had one of those young boys watching the older guy do his thing.
Yes, sir.
What made you shift? And you know what? I knew you was always like a mentor type dude, a positive dude, but I didn't know you was kind of like into the politics, right? And then as I got older, I saw you, hitting the pavement.
Yes.
What was that shift for you? When did that happen? At what point did you like, I need to get a little bit more active, involved in this politics in our city?
Right, and that's a great question asked, because I never, in my earlier years, especially in the years, my early years, I say in my 20s, right, that I would think that I'd be involved with politics or in leadership, truthfully. Like, you know, my thing was just do it. Do what needs to be done, regardless of the title. That's always how I operated. If I had seen something that was important or something needed to be done, I'd just be one of the ones to do it. But I was never the one to try to be the front person or the leader or the one who takes all the credit, because I love supporting other people, even with organizations. I never wanted to be the president, just the vice president. Even with this election now, I don't want to be the mayor. I just want to be a council person, because I just want to, you know, the one who is less likely to be at the top can do the most work, uninhibited. You know, like you get no people bothering you or trying.
There's not too much light on you, so
Right,
you're able
right.
to just focus on the work instead of all the distractions.
Exactly. So, you know, in my community activism, my first real introduction to politics and understanding of it was working with Councilwoman Vera Ames from the 4th Ward when we did the Day of the Babies. Our first back to school event, Day of the Babies, was 1995.
That was
right?
the first one?
The first one, yes. At Montgomery Park back then, currently known as Vera Ames Park in Patterson. But our first one, and when we did it the first time, we just wanted to do something good and positive for the community. You know what I mean? And when we did that, it was like a whole group of, you know, young Patterson people. I still had my business, but I was still, you know, from the projects, whatever. And a lot of our sponsors, our founders of the event, put it together, and it was kind of like HUD. I don't know if y'all remember Montgomery Park.
Yes, sir.
It was like, you know, we did a good thing for the kids, but when it got dark, it got crazy. And the city council kind of blasted us. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when they blasted us, the next week we went to the city council meeting, and we clapped back. You know what I mean? Like, oh, listen, like, this is our first time. You're not measuring our intent. You're looking at the fault in it. It's back and forth, you know.
Right.
And Miss Ames wasn't there at that time. But when she came back from Disney World, she decided, and they heard about, you know, a group of young people coming to the council meeting, contesting them, you know, pretty much condemning the event because it was like, you know, hood, whatever. She asked to meet with us. And when she met with us, that was like one of the best political to person experiences I've ever had. And I don't want to just limit it to just her, but we also met with Reverend Steele back then.
Okay. Yep.
Reverend Steele was a councilman, and he taught me about council courtesy. Ms. Ames taught us about the structure of government, how it works, documentation, and how our elected officials are supposed to work with community members. And that was in 1995. From 96 to present day, Ms. Ames has been our partner, and I learned from her the role of government as it relates to the people. They represent the people. There's no division. There's no wall.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that was like my real first introduction. Then moving forward to Marty Barnes, the first black mayor of the city of Patterson, sitting down with him. He showed us another organization that I was a part of, Brothers Organization.
Okay, I think I remember.
Yeah, he showed us. That was like early 2000s. He showed us the reality of government. He said government affects everything in life. The price you pay for a roll of tissue is controlled by government.
Right.
And that always stuck with me. That was over 20 some odd years ago. So then I really started getting deep into it. And then what made me actually, instead of looking for people to help me and serve me and present the ideas of my community and getting disappointed, I said, you know what, if you want something done right,
Do it yourself.
you gotta do it yourself. So that was in 2018 when I actually saw our housing getting given. I witnessed our housing buildings and lots being given away to developers. And I came up with an idea in 2018, and you're hearing a lot of people talking about it now, but I came up with an idea in 2018 to say, won't the city just put some properties to the side for the residents, and then whatever's left, give it to the developers.
Right.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, okay, yeah, let's do it. I presented the idea to a council person. The idea didn't go no further than a council meeting, and that really, really frustrated me. You know what I mean? And I think not so much so that they didn't follow through with it, but I put too much expectation on them, who to me at that point, their concern was only making money for the city, get the city out of debt, and not really for the residents. So that's when I decided, like a week after that, I decided to run myself. And I've been doing it ever since 2018, you know. And every election, I've been getting closer and closer to the goal. Yeah.
Yep.
So leads me into that question. My next question was going to be who influenced you, but clearly Miss Vera Ames,
Yeah, Party Bars.
Marty Barnes, they were big influences to get to what it is that you're doing now. I know before you just said that you didn't see yourself being in this role before at one point. So what does mid leadership in this role mean to you now?
So I think a good leader is a good follower, somebody, and you guys notice like some of the best players, some of the best coaches are good players or people who are knowledgeable about the game. You know what I mean? Who understand, respect, and love the game, turn out to be good coaches. So I have a high admiration for government. I understand it fully. I'm scholarly when it comes to reading policy, when it comes to reading the Constitution and laws. I enjoy reading and education. And then I see myself as somebody who's easy to work with. And based on those principles, I think, if you want to classify me as a leader, I'll accept that. But it has to come with those principles and values. The same. You have people who may want to be a leader, but they don't have, the temperament.
Right.
They don't have the patience,
Right.
and they're not scholarly enough to understand the subject matter in which they're dealing with. We get people who've been placed in position based on nepotism and because you the last one left, or you fit a certain model, but you don't have, I think, all the basic essential qualities. So I think when it comes to, and I'm scared, I'm kind of scared to use the word leader. I want to say a person who can advocate effectively within that role of government. I think I fit the criteria for that. You know what I mean?
So now I got a question for you, because a lot of our fans and our audience base are younger players, athletes, parents. That's we appreciate y'all support.
Yes, sir.
So now I'm a young guy. I'm watching
sir.
this episode. I thought it was gonna be Shaquille O'Neal
Yeah.
here today, but I'm meeting this great guy named Casey Melvin. Why is it important? Why should I care as a youth in this city? To me, politics is just a word. I don't understand it. How is that gonna affect me? How is that gonna affect my basketball team? How is that gonna affect my walks home from basketball practice?
So, and that's another great question, especially to the young people. Now, I'm at an age where I could be a grandfather right now.
Okay.
But based on a good diet, doing the right thing, hanging around young people like yourselves, I've been able to preserve myself not only physically but intellectually too, to understand the young people's needs, right? And I know that when you talk about sports and recreation, that's a governmental decision on whether you have places to play sports and whether you have a recreational facility to play ball in, right? Because these gymnasiums are controlled by elected officials, our school board members, our mayors, and our superintendents who are in elected positions. In order to be a school board member, somebody had to vote for you. But if you vote for somebody who doesn't have a clue on the benefits of sports, right, then guess what? You'll have little to no sports activity. So voting is important, right?
Right.
Especially when you say you're walking home from a game of basketball and not have to worry about somebody who you bumped into at school 32, in the lunchroom, got upset and wanted to chase you down and do something to you.
Right.
Your safety is dependent upon, as it relates to police,
Right.
and things like that. The police department is ran by your mayor, who is somebody who you elected.
Right.
So if the mayor doesn't think that we need control or safe passage, right, for kids to go from one gym to the next gym, then that could result in a lot of danger for these young folks. So the people who make the decisions for you to go to a game, play a game, recreation, have law enforcement patrol the community is done by people who you elect. That's why voting in government is very, very important.
So I have one more question. So you mentioned your idea that you had, which I thought was brilliant, which was instead of giving all the vacant land and properties to developers, let's get some to the residents. I'm curious about your stance on and your plan on that same idea now, because I'm gonna speak for me and not speaking for you. I feel this might be controversial, but I feel that the city has gotten to a weird space where the developers got too much control. And to me, this is the outside. I'm not a politician. I don't have, professional opinion. This is my personal opinion. I feel that we're it's trickling down to us having a traffic problem, to us having a school problem, right? Because now we got all these new apartment complexes coming up, but we got the same set of schools, right? We got a couple new charter schools that's trying to fill the void, which the city is fighting against them to be here, but they're needed, right? Because you keep bringing all these people in, and I just feel like they're not thinking about the residents here. I hear all the time like, oh man, it's not the same city. Oh man, it's not the same city, right? And it was such, despite, our reputation, is such a beautiful city. And to grow up here was just a magical place. And it's not the same place where I grew up, but I think we could get there and even better. So I'm just curious to hear if you could speak on the developer and, the resident, the plan that you had, where do it stands right now?
So that question regarding housing and development is the $1 million question, right? Every person who's running for office is kind of going to be faced with that question, and those who are in office right now have to deal with that issue today. So if we go back to my 2018 proposal about giving the residents first opportunity, and I'm going to give you some reality around that. Then I'm going to end on the point about the present day of overdevelopment, right? In 2018, in the early years, the early 2000s, we were underdeveloped. There was probably more vacant lots in certain areas of the town than there was housing, right? So we needed some stimulus in regards to development, right? So much so that they came up with these tax abatements and tax incentives to say, if you invest in building property in Patterson, we'll give you a tax break. We'll freeze the amount of taxes you have to pay if you build some property as opposed to giving you the market value, right? They even discounted some properties, right? And when I talked about 2018, there was auctions where the city was selling properties as low as $500. So if you had an income tax return, you could buy a property and own it, and you would have to develop it yourself. The only difference is based on, and I understand based on, how the city looked back then, they needed some incentive to build.
Right.
So they gave tax abatements, but guess what? We're at the point now where we're overdeveloped. So I think there needs to be a moratorium on abatements and building incentives. Now, if we adopted my idea back then, I'm saying give it to the residents. You and I are not developers, right? You're not going to build a 25 unit property where there was a 3-family unit, right? That's one thing. And secondly, if I gave you guys a property, your mother, your family, your sister, your brother, your siblings would be there, three units max, right? 6 parking spots, right? So the development that comes from a resident is far, far different from a developer whose mind is only on profit and, commercializing and overdevelopment, maximizing on his investment. So I think that's where we were wrong at. We gave too many to the developers and not any or too little to the residents. And if you look at those towns that are doing well, they don't have big skyscrapers. The towns that are safer, towns that are cleaner, when you drive around from another town to Patterson, you see small 2 families, 1 families, right? Grass manicured, the dog running, the picket fence, right? And that's easily managed because the person who owns that home takes better care of it. So that would alleviate us for nowhere to park. The big, I call them the Newport 100. I don't know if y'all remember those, the big tall pack of cigarettes next to the little pack of cigarettes, it looks crazy, bro. It looks crazy, and you can't even sneeze without the person in the next building saying bless you, because that's how close you are. You know what I mean? So I think had they revisited that, or if they, put a stop on the overdevelopment and then anything moving forward, go back to the residents, you'll see better quality of life as it relates to the parents, right? No more overcrowdedness, and then the residents were not getting abatements. We were willing to pay the taxes, you know what I'm saying, because we do it already. And that's not an incentive. Abatements are only, and lower taxes are only available for those who do commercial development. And we're not doing that. So I think that would address that issue a little better had they reconsidered who they gave the properties to, like other towns did.
Okay, so what are some other issues that matter to you most in the city of Patterson that you would like to
Yeah.
change?
So the beauty of my campaign, and my campaign is for everybody. My issues are for everybody, whether you be Black, Spanish, Bengali, whatever your nationality is. The 5 key things that I'm looking to address through legislation, through policy, is the same issues that everybody sees and experiences: quality of life. When you ride from one place to another next, and you see garbage, you see overcrowdedness, nowhere to park, right? Potholes, right? The excessive snow that we experience and not getting removed in a timely manner, right? The noise, all those issues that make your living conditions uncomfortable is what I want to address. I want to create legislation. I want to create innovative ways to address the issue by doing research, by finding best practices, right? And implementing that, and then getting, most importantly, the people who live around us involved, like conversations with you guys. I can't see everything, I can't do anything, but when I talk to you guys, what about this, what about that, we come together, and the best idea is the one that we support. You know what I mean? So quality of life issues with the homelessness, with the garbage, with the potholes, with the addiction, all those things that make our city look bad. I want to address that. The violence.
Yes.
I mean, everybody. You can't say you from Patterson and not know what's going on as far as safety is concerned.
Right.
We getting people in their teenage years getting murdered.
Right.
Patterson has a history of at least 4 or 5 people at not dying before they turn 16 years old. And we know the names. Genesis Recon.
Yes.
Nazira Bug, a young athlete,
Yes.
lost her life, right?
Yes.
As a result of gun violence. We need to address that. Public safety is one of my pillars, and I'm not looking at public safety from a perspective of just police, because the police need help. I actually got calls from police saying, KC, I need your support to stop Pookie from fighting Jose, because you have a relationship with them. And what could we do? Because me coming in a uniform may be intimidating. But if a coach approaches them, or somebody whom they admire as a leader, as a barber, maybe the result will be different. Because you guys being coaches, you probably stop more fights in the police department.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
To add to that, that was one of the reasons why I wanted you to come and speak to the audience, and I support your mission, because my biggest fear is what happens to the young man, the superstar NBA prospect. He was 15 years old, I believe, at the time.
Yep.
Super talented guy. Amani,
Yep.
Was my godson, and him was like best friends, right? So I feel really close to that story, because it still affects my godson to this day. And that's my biggest fear when my kids leave our gym and we say, okay, guys, see you tomorrow. And I'm praying that everybody make it home safe, and I see them the next day in the gym, because who expected that? This wasn't a kid that was outside doing harm to anybody. This is a kid that's minding his business, playing basketball, right? Just like the young lady and everybody else, right? So I think it's very, very important to get involved to change these issues. Also to keep building more recreational programming, to give these guys something to do, to give them a light, because a lot of people see darkness out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they need this light. That's why this show is here to encourage more people to be interested in coaching or get more involved. Coach Murphy has this big mission, and he never verbally said it, but he say it. And his mission is to make Patterson basketball alive again. He want to pack those stands again.
Nice.
And that's from the little league all the way up to the high school level. We don't have those games. There's very few games. We had one this year where it was the Charter versus Charters, Patterson Charter versus College of Chief, and you couldn't get in the gym. That's how I used to always.
Right.
We need to give back to that, because the kids, they feel proud seeing their city there. Stop, get out of front of the YouTube for a minute. Get off the corner for a second. Come support these guys. Come see how you could be a coach, how you could be a mentor, how you can help out, have a mentor program. I think these things are important, and I appreciate what you're doing, man.
No,
Salute.
It's very, very important, and I thank you for that. And that's the other important part of you guys fulfilling your mission, is me supporting your mission from a legislative side. Right. I know basketball saves lives, right? Yes. I can count dozens of individuals who had it not been for sports, if they wouldn't be dead, if they wouldn't be locked up, if they wouldn't be strung out on some type of substance, had it not been for basketball.
Right.
When I was younger, we when we didn't have basketball, we would put I don't know if you guys ever did this, the bicycle rim, clear out the bicycle rim and nail it to the tree or nail it to a
Yes,
wall.
yes, sir.
And that was the basketball court.
The milk crate as
The
well.
milk crate, there you go.
Yes,
So
sir.
y'all do the milk
Absolutely.
crate.
Yes,
So,
sir.
and that was our recreation.
Yeah.
So now to have somebody in office like myself who understands the importance of basketball, who understands the importance of sports, and coaches, the mentors, right?
Yeah.
Because you guys are disciplinarians too, right? But not only understanding it, willing to support it from a legislative side, because Patterson gets over $330 million annually. $330 million. If you ride through the city of Patterson, you can't see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't see that. So I want to redirect some of those funds towards activities, recreational, that invest in sports, not for the sake of just playing sports, but the coaching part, having a safe environment, right? The athleticism, because our kids right now, they got them video game bodies, I call them.
Yeah.
They hunchback,
Yeah.
and then they just sit like this because they be on the video game. But the athlete is well shaped, well disciplined. You know what I mean? So you get a lot of benefits from playing sports besides just the game itself. You know what I mean? So I'm willing to support that. You can count me as one legislator, one council person,
appreciate
who you
that.
won't have any argument. And based on seeing people like yourselves in a position to help other young people, because that's very, very important, to have their mentors and their leaders and their supporters look and reflect them.
Yes, sir. You want to get into it? You want to do our fun part?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's get into the game.
All
Okay.
right, okay.
So before we get into the game, let's take some time and pay our bills. We want to thank our sponsor, Camille's Lebanese Restaurant, located at 1489 Main Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey. You must come here. I mean, the lamb chops are amazing. The chicken chops, the customer service is amazing. You got to get the mint lemonade if you come here. And if you guys like hookah, they got fresh hookah here. So make sure you guys check that out. Appreciate our sponsors. So now let's get into the game. We call this game Stats or Cap. Okay?
Okay.
So this is a game similar to True or False.
Okay.
Stats meaning true, caps meaning false.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna ask you some random questions
Okay.
that we came up with, and you just answer it the best way you can.
Okay.
Sounds fair? All right. Set us off, man.
All right. So the first question we have for you: most city funding decisions that affect schools happen at the local level. Stats or cap?
Cap.
Okay. They got it as stats. Sometimes they could be wrong though. So
They got it as stats.
yeah, they got it as stats. They said most city funding decisions that affect schools happen at the local level. They got it as stats.
Okay, so in Patterson, our school budget is over $800 million. That doesn't come locally.
Okay.
800 million now, and we're no longer local control. We get a lot of state funding, not locally. So maybe some districts that are smaller
Yup.
and their tax base
Yup.
covers their school expenditures, but good and well Patterson
Yup.
don't have $850 million for education. So in our case, I got it from wrong. You know what I mean?
This be wrong.
Yeah.
This be wrong.
Generally,
Yeah, this be wrong.
yeah.
This
Oh, that's
be
a
wrong.
general statement, but like Patterson, we don't have $850 million
See, you know what he talking about,
to
right?
put into
All right.
education.
Oh, all right. Sports program have no impact on reducing youth violence. Stats or cap?
Cap, baseball cap, fitted cap. That's wave cap. Every cap you could name, that is. 'Cause I know good and well sports saves lives.
Super.
Absolutely, you are right.
Community centers can help lower crime rates. Stats or cap?
That's stats.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Voting in local elections doesn't really matter. Stats or cap?
Cap all day.
Yes, sir.
Local elections matter to a large extent. As I said before, the place where you can have your next sporting game is a political decision.
Yo.
You have to get permission through the school board, and school boards are elected officials. There's those 9 members that yay or nay different concerns and issues or proposals. That's an elected position. So it has a lot to do with whether you have access or not.
Okay. Coaches are some of the most influential figures in a young athlete's life. Stats or cap?
That's stats. That's
Yes,
facts
sir.
all day, because I can't think of anybody successful, whether it be sports or anything, that requires a mentor, claim their victory or their success without really relating them back to a coach.
Yeah, I agree. That's very true.
You know,
That's
so
very true.
yeah, they go hand in hand.
hand
Success,
in hand.
a successful athlete, behind every successful athlete, there's a coach.
Very
Yes, that's very true. Budget cuts rarely affect sports programs. Stats or cap?
Cap.
Yes, sir.
Cap.
You already
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Yeah, cap, yeah.
After school programs help keep kids out of trouble. Stats or cap?
Stats. We have an after school program. The Patterson Healing Collective has an after school program.
Okay.
It not only acts as a safe haven, right, to keep them sheltered in a protected environment, but they're surrounded by mentors. We feed them. We have game room. We have a fitness room. We have a printing room for entrepreneurship. We have a music studio in there, and we've witnessed times where our kids were with us at our after school program and somebody got murdered.
Yeah.
And that somebody was somebody that was within their circle but wasn't with them at that specific time. So that's a safe haven. That's a shelter. That's refuge for young individuals after school programs. So
Yeah,
that's
I remember, just seeing. I remember we went to St. Peter's last year in Patterson Healing.
Oh, yes.
It was all there at the St. Peter's.
Yes,
game.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's like, yeah, we see you everywhere.
Yes,
so,
sir.
they do be everywhere.
And I saw it's a couple of young guys that's in y'all program that definitely was going a different direction before they got with you guys, and their mindset now is just so refreshing. So I appreciate the work that Patterson Healing Collective is doing. Shout out to them. And I want to actually highlight that right now. If I'm a young person watching this, where can I get information? I'm a parent.
Yes.
How can I get my child involved with Patterson Healing Collective? Where are you located? How can we find you? What's the information?
Yep. Okay. And we appreciate that. The Patterson Healing Collective. So we have multifaceted programs for young people. We actually we started off as a hospital violence intervention program where somebody was shot or stabbed. Our program responds to that individual and provides them services so they won't retaliate or get re-injured. We've evolved from that now. We deal with like any type of victim of trauma. And then we have created an after-school program, right? And we have a program similar to re-entry for the adult population. And our target is the high-risk population, like individuals who are more likely to get in trouble. But guess what? In Patterson, that's everybody, right?
Yeah.
That's everybody. Yeah. So for our after-school program for kids who are ages 12 to 17, you can come to 100 Hamilton Plaza, room 415, and register. We need their parents' permission, and our capacity is about 30 individuals.
Right.
So if we have space, we'll be glad to have them. We have recreational activities within the program. We do mentoring. We take them on trips in the summer. We give them a stipend. They actually get paid for attending. We do a lesson plan, and we do check-ins daily to find out where they're at mentally and provide additional support if needed. And then for the adult population, we have a program called Empower You, where we do mental health.
Oh yeah.
We do substance abuse awareness, and we do career and job development 3 days a week. And that's from 4 to 4:30 to 6 p.m. And the after school program is after school to 5:30, and we provide transportation.
For the adult program, could anybody join?
18 and up. If we have space. If we have space.
So they would come to the same location.
Yeah, same location. Our main office is 100 Hamilton Plaza Suite 415 in Register.
I'm gonna skip 8. Mentorship is just as important as talent for young athletes. Stats or cap?
So mentorship is just as important as
Talent for young athletes. So some athletes think, I don't need nobody. I'm good. I'm nice. I don't need nobody. I could just go out here, be nice. I don't need no guidance from nobody. I don't need no mentor. That's for them other guys. I'm nice. I'm going to the league. I don't need no mentor. Do you believe that point of view is stats or cap? You think everybody? Yeah, that's definitely cap.
Yeah, that's
so y'all
cap.
know.
Yeah,
that is super cap.
Yeah, and I appreciate
Everybody
that
needs
example.
to-
Like, yeah, like who?
Yeah.
They gonna learn the hard way if they try,
learn the hard
and
way.
to avoid them from learning the hard way, get a mentor. Get a mentor.
It's always good just getting it from somebody who's been through it
Right.
already. Like use them as the playbook.
Right,
Or
right,
how to
right.
moving forward.
Right.
Yeah. Safe recreational spaces reduce crime and community. Stats or cap?
That's stats.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely does.
Athletes shouldn't be involved in community leadership. Stats or cap?
That's cap. The young people definitely need to see successful athletes come back and mentor them, support them financially, physically, as far as information wise, that's needed. Because, when a person makes it, in a lot of cases, they don't come back, right? Or they kind of forget, or they put themselves in a different area of where they habitate, mingle, and do things at. But it's always good to come back home because your city, your town needs you.
Yeah.
And that's inspiring to young people too, especially when I know in my time, the drug dealer, was the idol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to have so to have a successful athlete to come back and show some love to the community is always important.
Absolutely.
Very. Exposure to sports can open doors to college opportunities. Stats or cap?
That's stats.
Okay.
That's
Yep.
stats. Yeah.
And we're going to go to the last one. One person can't make a difference in their community. Stats or cap?
That's cap.
Yes, sir.
One person definitely can.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can.
So give it up for KC for doing a great job. A Stats or cap.
Appreciate y'all.
Another Stats or cap champion.
All right.
I kind of wanted to see if you had a message, and like I said, we're talking to athletes, but this is really talking to everybody out there, young people in general. If you had a message that you would like to tell them, what would you say?
Okay, so my message overall, I start with today's message, right? It being relevant today to this day and time is if you're young, under 18, advise your parents, your uncles, your aunts, your elders that are 18 and older and live in the city of Patterson to vote KC Melvin for council at large. My number on the ballot is 11B. That's KC Melvin, council at large, 11B for council at large, because I want to make your future a more productive and beneficial future that's better than the future that we had, because I know that there's a lot of challenges that you young guys are going to be faced with, young guys and girls. I know that the city's not the type of city that you hope it or you would like it to be. I know there's not a lot of things for you to do, very little opportunities, but by voting for me, this is a chance for you to have it better than I had it and we had it. Not to say that it's all bad, but it could be better. So, and also, not only would I be there to make life better and the city better for you, but I'm also going to cut a path, for you to be the next future leader in the city of Patterson. So help me so I can help you make our city and your lives better in Patterson, New Jersey.
Okay. If you had 60 seconds to talk to your younger self, what would you say?
Okay, 60 seconds to talk with my younger self. I should have sped it up a little bit. I took too long. I took too long. I should have sped it up a little bit. Should have been more focused. Should have cut some things out and just should have invested instead of 60%. I should have invested 100% into myself, and I'd have been in a better place because you only get out what you put in.
Yeah.
So I don't blame nobody else for where I am but myself. So I would have definitely put a greater investment in me.
I got a question for gentlemen that want to get their waves back. That lost
Okay.
for a professional barber.
Yeah,
Guy
okay.
like myself that's hairline challenged. What can we do out here to get our hairlines back? You know what it is?
Yeah. So I'm semi-retired from hair cutting, but what I do know is with today's advancement in technology, they got the man weave, right? They got the man weave, some synthetic hair and some glue, a little color. Man, you be looking like you was
Like a
21
Mac?
again, like
Oh,
you 21
man.
again, brother. You know what I mean? It's gonna cost you though, but you know what I mean?
Okay, all right, it's over for me.
Yeah, it is.
So I just wanted to, this episode, I want to share with people that this is bigger than basketball, right? Basketball is important, but for coaching, what we trying to give you guys is not just the lessons on the court. It's the lessons off the court, right? Cause them lessons off the court that make you into that man is gonna make you into that great athlete. That's gonna make you into that great student. So I wanted to leave everybody with my closing remarks for the day is, be the greatest person you could be on and off the court. Get involved with your community. Know what's going on with the politics so you can understand. Make the people fight for you. Understand what's going on. Stay focused.
One last thing, just for the our student athletes again, importance of education and discipline.
Highly important. Education and discipline is the fundamental keys to success. Without and they go hand in hand. If you're educated but not disciplined, you'll implode. You'll blow up internally. You won't be able to manage your academics, your scholarship, because I've seen people that are very smart but undisciplined, and they turn into a problem for everybody. Nobody wants to be around them. They become arrogant and conceited. But with the proper discipline, that discipline education turns into wisdom. You become more wiser. You're able to, know when to say it, what time to say it, and how to say it based on, your discipline. So they go hand in hand. That's the key to any successful individual. And I can't name an individual who succeeded without not only the education or being around an educated circle and then exercising that discipline. So those are vital.
Yeah.
Could you tell everybody before we wrap up, where can they find you?
Okay.
How they should vote for you? How they can go vote? Where they can register at?
Yes, indeed. So, so I have a headquarters. KC Melvin headquarters is located in the city of Patterson at 100 Hamilton Plaza, room 401. That's right downtown Patterson. I have a headquarters, and that's open 5 days a week. My number, 973-703-1684. You can call me. My Facebook page, KCC Melvin on Facebook. Civilized King also on Facebook. Instagram, KC Melvin or K Civilized on Instagram. You can reach me as well, but if you just Google KC Melvin .org, my website will pop up. My contact is there as well. All right. So again, I'm from Patterson, KC Melvin Council at Large. My number is 11B. I need your support because Patterson needs a change. And my designation is when you go into that booth, it's a little slogan that says, "Press here to win," because we've been losing for too long, and now it's time for Patterson to win. KC Melvin.
All right, that's what's up, man. We want to thank our special guest, KC Melvin, for stopping in today. Again, I'm your co-host, Shamari Reed, with our amazing host, Shala G. We out of here.
That's the coach's point of view. 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 That's the coach's point of view.